is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path.
First reading, a reading from the prophet Ezekiel, chapter 47, verses 1 to 9 and 12. The angel brought me, Ezekiel, back to the entrance of the temple of the Lord, and I saw water flowing out from beneath the threshold of the temple toward the east, for the facade of the temple was toward the east. The water flowed down from the right side of the temple, south of the altar. He led me outside by the north gate and around to the outer gate facing the east, where I saw water trickling from the right side. Then when he had walked off to the east with a measuring cord in his hand, he measured off 1,000 cubits and had me wade through the water, which was ankle deep. He measured off another 1,000, and once more had me wade through the water, which was now knee-deep. Again he measured off 1,000 and had me wade. The water was up to my waist. Once more he measured off 1,000, but there was now a river through which I could not wade, for the water had risen so high it had become a river. There could not be crossed except by swimming. He asked me, "Have you seen this Son of Man?" Then he brought me to the bank of the river, where he had me sit. Along the bank of the river I saw very many trees on both sides. He said to me, "This water flows into the eastern district down upon the Arabah, and empties into the sea, the salt waters which it makes fresh wherever the river flows. Every sort of living creature that can multiply shall live, and there shall be abundant fish. For wherever this water comes, the sea shall be made fresh. Along both banks of the river, fruit trees of every kind shall grow. Their leaves shall not fade, nor their fruit fail. Every month they shall bear fresh fruit, for they shall be watered by the flow from the sanctuary. Their fruit shall serve for food, and their leaves for medicine." The word of the Lord.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. John, chapter 5, verse 1 to 16. There was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now there is in Jerusalem, at the sheep gate, a pool called in Hebrew Bethesda, with 5 porticos. In these lay a large number of ill, blind, lame, and crippled. One man was there who had been ill for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there, and knew that he had been ill for a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to be well?" The sick man answered him, "Sir, I have no one to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up. While I am on my way, someone else gets down there before me." Jesus said to him, "Rise, take up your mat and walk." Immediately the man became well, took up his mat and walked. Now that day was Sabbath. So the Jews said to the man who was cured, "It is the Sabbath, and it is not lawful for you to carry your mat." He answered them, "The man who made me well told me, 'Take up your mat and walk.'" They asked him, "Who is the man who told you, 'Take it up and walk'?" The man who was healed did not know who it was, for Jesus had slipped away, since there was a crowd there. After this, Jesus found him in the temple area and said to him, "Look, you are well. Do not sin any more, so that nothing worse may happen to you." The man went and told the Jews that Jesus was the one who had made him well. Therefore, the Jews began to persecute Jesus because he did this on a Sabbath. The Gospel of the Lord.
My dear brothers and sisters in Christ, my dear children and my dear young generation, today Tuesday, 29th March 2022, we are in the fourth week of preparation in Lent. The Gospel given to us in the sacred liturgy is from the Gospel according to John, chapter 5, verses 1 to 3 and 5 to 16. The Gospel speaks to us about the healing of a person at the so-called near the sheep gate in Jerusalem in a pool called Bethsaida. Now, Jesus is in Jerusalem for a religious festival. But Jesus goes there in a very personal way. The name of the place we heard is Bethesda. Beth is the house. Hesda is the pool that we call it the place and the house of grace, the house of mercy. It is like Bethlehem, the house of bread. Now, this pool has a special significance for the people because those who are sick, they go to this pool. From time to time, there is a situation of stirring up the water, arousing the water. And therefore, at the moment when the water is stirred up, and somebody will try to get into the water thinking that it is an angel who comes down from time to time to stir the water. Therefore, when you get into the water at that time, you are healed. And it is a traditional way of believing in the power of God, in the presence of an angel, for the people in a pool in order to be healed. Now, Jesus is there. This man who is there is telling Jesus, I cannot walk. And I am here. I am a lame person. I am crippled. And nobody takes me down into the pool to get myself healed. And Jesus tells him, you take up your mat and you walk. The beauty in this episode is Jesus does not need material atmosphere, the material encounter of so-called getting into the waters of a pool in order to be healed. The power of God is beyond that. The power of Jesus is beyond that. His word is the power. He heals the person on a Sabbath day, the day of the Lord, because Jesus is the master of Sabbath. Even though it disturbs the authority of the time, Jesus heals, and He is the healer.